Harrison Ford sells out again. Dr. Doom Jr. revives the MCU. And the listeners throw down the gauntlet.
Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call! Bueller.
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller.
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kim left to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello, classmates. Welcome to Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Pete.
And I'm Tyler.
And again, no Joseph over there. We got his patron saint, Larry David, standing in instead. Yeah. Joseph is stateside now. He's back.
Stateside?
Yeah.
He didn't go over to the pond.
Well, he went to the East Coast. It's the same thing.
Okay.
It's like a different world over there.
All right. Yeah,
You go to
it
Europe,
is true.
every country is like a state in Europe.
Yeah.
So why is it that we get no points for international travel when we go to Pennsylvania?
Because we have no public transfer.
I know it's even
transportation.
that much harder. They're like, I've been to 100 countries over there. Blah, 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 blah.
I mean,
You've never
think
left your own country.
You think about the 1800s, and you have hobos going on to those freight trains.
Oh yeah, riding the rails.
Right in the rails. Yeah.
Now that's a different phrase. That's what Tyler does Thursday nights. Riding those rails.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's my way.
So anyways, thank you for everybody for joining us. Welcome to everyone on YouTube Live and otherwise. And of course, thank you to the OG classmates listening in podcast land.
Yes, thank you.
Chris Geiger's in the chat. I think that's the first time he's been in the chat.
Is he related to HR Geiger?
I think so. I think it's his cousin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Speaking of Chris, he actually just sent me a photo right before the stream started.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. That's me in a Speedo during my high school years as a water polo player.
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna blow this up.
I was in the best shape of my life.
So you can see Tyler.
No, please.
As Tyler in his Speedo, signed by Tyler himself.
Yeah. One of the greatest accomplishments of my life is autographing a photograph
Of you in nary a Speedo.
Exactly.
It's what was that for again?
I'm sorry?
What was that for again? It was like
For water polo?
No. Why did we give Chris the signed signature of you in your Speedo?
You know what? I don't remember. I can't recall.
I think it was a perk. Like we had, like once you reach a year on the cool ass yard duty, you get to come on the show or a free merch piece or something like that. Yeah. And he's like, how about I want an autographed picture of Tyler in nude?
Yeah. Well, you keep that, Chris. It's going to be valuable in about 80 something years.
Yeah, that's right. So anyways, welcome, Tyler. Welcome back.
Yes, I'm glad to be back in the studio. I'm surprised Joseph isn't here. If he is.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I started that conversation, then I forgot we had no audio. So
he's at the finish line of the continental U.S. and so he's not here. He couldn't haul his way over here to spin some noise with us.
Well, he's back, but who knows what sort of creepy
state of mind he's
creepy
in.
crawly viruses and bugs are all inside and outside
That's
of
true.
him.
I don't know. I don't know anything.
Every photo that Joseph sent to the group chat,
sick.
or no, he's never in them. He's always behind the camera.
Oh yeah, that's true. He's a photographer.
Yeah, but no, every photo was like, there's more human beings in one square yard of New York City than I've ever seen in my life.
I mean,
it's like Coachella there all the time.
I do want to visit New York City, but at the same time, oh geez,
I'm into it if it was like pre-pandemic, but we're surging in California right now.
Yeah,
COVID's on the rise, baby.
Yeah, the 19 is taking its storm again.
So he probably actually just took COVID there instead of bringing it back.
Maybe so.
So anyways, that's enough of that. Let's get into some Gab and Chatter.
Find some character in you, lad. Now's the time for Gab and Chatter.
Gab and Chatter, or movie news of the week. Tyler, lead us off.
Okay, so the San Diego Comic-Con has come and gone.
Yeah.
And Harrison Ford made an appearance.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is coming from...
Grumpy Ford. He's in his grumpy phase. He has been for some time now.
Well deserved, though.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Oh, he earned it for sure.
Yeah.
I think most old men, they deserve to be creepy, weird old guys.
I mean, he's
not creepy, but weird.
Yeah, I don't know about creepy, but like he is
saying shit that doesn't make any sense.
He's a weird guy, but like that's an endearing statement. Like it's not like, oh no, that guy's weird. Like no, like he worked really hard in Hollywood for a very like decades, and he's played iconic roles as
he used to sell drugs.
Did he?
Yeah, he was like I can't remember. I think they said on the set of Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I can't remember who it was, but they're like, "Hey, I know that guy. He used to sell me weed."
I don't doubt it because he's known to be a stoner. So Harrison Ford, he made an appearance at the San Diego Comic-Con because he's going to be starring in a new MCU movie. It's the new Captain America movie, Captain America 4.
Starring?
Well, I don't think he's starring, but he's going to be a pivotal part.
He's playing Captain America? Weird choice.
Nothing would make me happy.
They should have just had him as old Captain America instead of de-aging Chris Evans.
Yes.
No, I don't think I will.
So Harrison Ford says Red. So he's playing the Red Hulk. Now I don't know. I don't know anything about like Hulk lore or anything Marvel. I'm mostly into Batman.
You don't listen to the Hulk lore podcast?
Oh, there's a podcast.
Yeah, it's hosted by Dax Shepard. No.
Are you pulling my chain?
I'm yanking your chain.
Okay. So Harrison Ford says he's going to be playing Red Hulk in the new Captain America movie. And he says it's required not caring and being an idiot for money, which I have done before. However, he follows up with it saying, I don't mean to disparage it.
Yeah.
And so, yes, Harrison Ford is going to be playing the Red Hulk in the new Captain America movie.
That's such a weird choice.
Well, I mean, so I agree with you because he's so old.
He's so old. This guy with his old balls.
So when I was reading this article, I was thinking about like our conversation about Ridley Scott and Clint Eastwood.
Lee Scott. Sorry.
Yeah, Lee Scott. I was thinking about Lee Scott and Clint Eastwood and how like they're really up there, but they're still doing work. But they're in a director's position rather than Harrison Ford. He's in an acting position, which requires a lot more physical movement.
Yeah.
Like you can't just be sitting in a chair and like eyeing like a camera like, okay, yeah, the shot's good. Maybe if you can do it right here. But no, he's like actually like in mocap and acting like a Hulk, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
The fact that he has the energy to do that, because if you think about Harrison Ford's fortune that he's accumulated over the years of being in an entertainment industry, he doesn't have to work. Like he doesn't have to do anything. He could just sit in his palatial estate and
in a nice recliner from IKEA
and
or on his budget, Scandinavian Designs.
Exactly.
Tyler, get on that mic.
And so I was thinking to myself, you know, good for Harrison Ford for having the energy and the motivation to still work. I mean,
I would not.
I was. Neither would I. That's what I was thinking.
Then again, how much of that is work, especially mocap?
Well, I mean, you're still moving around. Like, I mean, think about like if you're
talking about like versus your job. Harrison Ford couldn't deliver packages in the Sacramento heat.
I'm sure he would find a way.
No, he would not. No, his frail, crippled old body. His bones are turning to dust with each.
That package deserves to be on a port.
That might be the top 10 funniest things you said on the show.
But I commended him for it to even because after Dial of Destiny, I thought that was it. He reprised his role as Indiana Jones. He did a really good job, and I thought that a lot of people disparaged Dial of Destiny.
It was good. I thought it was cool.
I thought it was all right. I thought it was good, and I thought it was a really. I mean, I think Last Crusade was the best send off for Indiana Jones. However, I mean, you know,
when are we getting the Phoebe Waller-Bridge spinoff?
I hope soon because I really like her.
I could hope she's fine.
She's fine.
I was expecting a lot more.
Look, I just want you to stop saying odd shit. So he goes on to say, I don't mean to disparage it, as in because when he said, yeah, I don't care. You have to be stupid to make money. And I think I get what he's saying. I think what he's saying is...
Dance, monkey, dance is what he's saying.
He's saying, I'm just doing this for fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether or not... I don't need the money. Like, this seemed like a fun project. He doesn't need like a manager, like an acting manager or anything like that. Like, he doesn't need an acting coach. Well, if you're gonna slap Harrison Ford's name on a movie, people are gonna go and watch it. And I think obviously he's in the twilight of his life, and so he just wants to have fun. And there hasn't been like any criticisms towards him saying that like you have to be stupid and stuff like that or not care. I think it was just more for himself.
Well,
I think
that if you
relinquished like his,
he's taking off his serious hat, he's putting a silly hat on.
Right.
Which, I mean, he's doing some comedic stuff now. There's that show he's on Apple TV with Jason Segel. It's called Shrinking, I think, because they're shrinks. They're all like,
I think it's called Shrinking.
Yeah, really funny. And he's good in it too. He plays a grumpy old bastard, but he also is funny at the same time.
Yeah, so I think, who is it? Anthony Mackie, who is directing. So it's Captain America.
Anthony Mackie's directing?
Captain America Brave New World. Yeah, I think it is.
Okay. It's coming out next year, it says here.
Yeah, in February.
And Anthony Mackie, the director, Julius Ona. Anthony Mackie he used to play Iron Man or Captain America. I don't know if they're continuing the Captain America thing now, but I don't know this person, Julius Ona.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't...
Tyler, did you just see this picture of this guy and think that it's Anthony Mackie? Come on, Tyler, be better. Do better. He directed The Cloverfield Paradox, Loose. Don't know what that is. The Girls in Trouble. Yeah, I haven't seen. Ooh, Avicii. A music video for Avicii, Broken Arrows.
Oh, nice.
Captain America 4 in good hands.
Yeah. So basically everyone was saying like he was a huge motivator on set and that they were very happy to have Harrison Ford on there. And I'm looking at a picture right here on the screen that you have pulled up right now, and he does not look his age.
How old is he?
Oh, shoot.
He doesn't look how old he is, but I don't know how old that is.
Hold on. Let me Let me look it up.
Let me address what Angry Otter said in the chat. Said, didn't he break his leg in this new Star Wars movie when he did the one where he was killed by his son?
Yeah, it was his ankle. No, he's 82 years old. He does not he does not look 82.
You're right. He doesn't look his age. He looks good.
He does not look 82. And so I guess the point of the story was that I'm glad that he's being honest, like, with his career, that he's saying, yeah, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm just going to do this because it sounds fun. I have the energy to work. I want to work. It's not about the money. It's just about having fun. And I really respect that with the older actors who have, like, made a name for themselves. It's kind of like Kurt Russell, like, doing The Hateful Eight, or, Sam Jackson doing any of the movies that he does. Like, he's already an established name. Like, everyone already has their legacy. Like, they have generational wealth, but they're doing it for the work.
Yeah, and any aged actor, really, it doesn't. They could stop acting at any time.
Exactly. And so I was thinking about that after I read that article, because I kind of got the impression that he felt bad about saying, oh, I don't care, like, this is just stupid.
Yeah.
But then he follows up saying, I'm not disparaging it. I'm just saying, like, I'm in a position where I can do these projects without caring. Yeah. And I think that's a really, like, it's a really self-aware thing that I appreciate.
And he did break his leg when he on this.
It was his leg.
It was his leg. Yeah, there's a number of injuries, but a hydraulic door came down on his like ankle and ended up breaking his leg. They said he could have been killed. They were fined $2 million. The production company was.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm glad you think that's funny, Tyler. One of your heroes was almost bludgeoned by a blunt guillotine.
Don't know why I find that. I can just imagine him like screaming, "Oh my God, my leg! Get this thing off of me!"
I think Harrison Ford maybe said something like this.
It's not about the awards that he gets. It's about how fun he has. Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, great. All right, so my story. Let's see here. Let me get to this. I got Larry David pictures for each one of these screens for Joseph. So continuing the MCU train of conversation of news stories.
Yeah.
They had a fantastic reveal to who was going to be playing Doctor Doom in the upcoming Avengers Doomsday movie.
Right.
This is the new Avengers movie -- Doomsday.
Yeah.
And I think this is supposed to be an origin story of Doctor Doom. I assume so. I mean, we'll see. But everyone is kind of clamoring, oh, who's it going to be? Because Jonathan Majors was going to be the next big bad, right? He's going to be Kang the Conqueror. And he was in Ant-Man Quantumania, was revealed as Kang the Conqueror. And he was like this multiple versions of himself. They all have different, look similar. They're all played by Jonathan Majors, but they're, from different dimensions. So they look different and act different or whatever.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, cool. He could ride that out forever. And then he decided to beat up his girlfriend in public. And now he can never work again. Yeah. So he showed his ass, as they say. So anyways, at the San Diego Comic-Con, they had this whole thing that they're going to reveal who's going to be the Doctor Doom. And they rolled out this great WWE style event where they had all these dudes and dressed up as Doctor Doom on the stage with the mask on. And one of them comes forward and he pulls his mask and it's fucking Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
They killed Iron Man.
Yeah.
And they finally added stakes to the MCU universe. I know that's redundant. Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
They added stakes. Iron Man died, never to return. Robert Downey Jr. wins Best Supporting Actor for Oppenheimer. And in his speech, he says, thank you to whoever it was that told me to get out of my shell and make a movie that matters. Basically, essentially, without saying so, basically saying, I'm done doing Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I'm going to make important movies now. I'm going to be a serious actor now. And they
Here, do you want $30 million?
3?
Said $30 million?
Yeah, I want to say it's something like that. It's like 30 million or 50 million or something like that. It might even be more than that, but
it probably is. I
mean, I think he probably was a big part of the secret sauce that made the MCU in that generation really sing why those movies were so popular, because he's legitimately charismatic and he's a very good actor.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think he did incredible as Tony Stark, Iron Man.
Tony Stark and Iron Man.
Well, yeah.
Have you ever seen Tony Stark and Iron Man at the same place at the same time?
You know what? I don't know.
Yeah, so that's who they replaced. So they replaced Jonathan Majors not as Kang, but as the big bad that they're going to hang their entire franchise on. And people are very divided about this, mostly confused, mostly like, you had the out. You could have left gracefully. You could have moved on to other things. And he decided to come back and take that paycheck and do the Marvel again.
I mean, yeah, I've seen some theories about how it's going to be a Tony Stark that turns into a Doctor Doom sort of story.
Well, yeah, that's a beautiful thing about comic books, is you can have multiple timelines, you can have multiple universes.
It doesn't matter. You can retcon anything.
You can have the Batman that doesn't go down on the first date. You can have the Batman that does nothing but eat poon, even though the researchers say that Batman doesn't do that.
No.
Yes, he does.
No.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Her name is Catwoman, after all. Anyways.
Speaking of Catwoman, shout out to Angie.
Is that your nickname for her? Catwoman?
She's Catwoman.
She's Catwoman. Okay. This is creepy. Hi, Angie. But Heather has a great point, and this is what a lot of people have said in the chat. She says, I don't know why they didn't just replace Majors with a different actor for Kang. Pretty sure we could have figured that out. Which is absolutely. They already did it. There's precedent within the MCU. They replaced Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle for Rhodey. The first Iron Man, it was Terrence Howard, and Terrence Howard's like, I need more money. And they're like, fuck off, we'll get Don Cheadle.
Yeah. Cheadle was like, all right,
Yeah.
I need work.
I'll take my break from doing a Cockney accent for Ocean's 11. I'll come to your movie. So I thought that was just a very, very strange turn of events. And I don't think it's strange for like, how do they keep the continuity? Because that is a good, valid option. A universe in which Tony Stark is not turned for good.
I mean, they already introduced like a multiverse in the MCU, so
Sure. I mean, yeah.
why not?
It could very easily, it could go down that path and you had all the standards come back. But I just thought that was one of the more strange things to happen in,
Yeah, it
in
was.
the Marvel universe.
I was very surprised, and then it kind of also got me thinking as well. Do we need more Marvel movies because they have like an onslaught of shows on Disney Plus?
I think that in the Comic-Con they also said they're going to be limiting the amount of content. It's going to be like maybe 1 or 2 shows a year.
Okay,
And one or 2 movies a year, which I don't believe that, but
So I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword because in the comic book world, like with like actual physical comics, like there is a lot of ire with people who read comics about the retconning of certain like storylines because there's just so much of it. Like it gets produced so much, and it's a lot to keep up with. I mean, I guess if you're a fan of that, of course, like you're gonna eat it up.
Yeah.
But for myself, I think about the original run of like the Avengers and the Infinity War like era of Marvel movies. That felt like an event.
sure.
Like that was
Because you're leading up to it. They're like, this movie's going to come out a year and a half from now. Get ready. And there was not a ton of spin-offs. I mean, there was a couple, but
but you didn't have to pay attention to it. But as far as like going to the movies, it was every time like a new Avengers movie came out, it was an event.
Yeah.
And so now what they're trying to do with this whole like Doctor Doom and this new Captain America movie, it feels like old hat, you know, because we got between from End War to now, we've gotten incredible amounts of original IPs that are a lot more interesting than the comic book movies. I think the comic book movies like were sort of like a coping mechanism with how the world was going.
I just think the bottom line is that oversaturation is never a good thing.
Right.
It's like, I love King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, the band.
Oh my God, they put out so much.
But when they put out 5 albums in 1 year, I start getting into one, and then the next one comes out, and you're like, I'm still vibing on the last one, bro.
Yeah.
Give me a minute to play it out.
So I mean, like there's always going to be those like fanatics
Yeah.
who are obsessed with like comic book movies and stuff. But you know, the one comic book movie that I really, really hope that gets made is the Spawn movie. We didn't see any.
We talked about that last week.
We talked about it last week, but I was hoping that we would get some more information because of Comic-Con that happened in San Diego. But alas, still in the dark.
So that's that. And then lastly, I just wanted to bring up an interaction that I had with one of our faithful listeners, Binge Lord Dan. Binge Lord Dan. Dan
the man.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe perhaps.
Wait, really?
They have. He commented on Twitter and made a post that he was watching. No One Will Save You. No one will save you. The alien movie, the silent alien movie, no dialogue that we did the episode on.
Yeah.
Is that streaming on Hulu?
Yeah.
Brian Duffield, I believe, is the writer-director. And he said, watching based off of Pete's recommendation, tag me in it. And there were some conversations with Heather, this and that. And then he added also, Dan 1, Tyler 0.
Why?
And I said, what is that? Is this the streaming pick recommendation tally? He said, yes, technically it's 2, but I would have watched the creator regardless. So he's basically saying if he watches a movie based off of our recommendation on the show, he's adding it to his tally. And you're now competing against Binge Lord Dan as you're self-proclaimed that you said yourself you'd watch our streaming picks.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that because I did do that.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I guess let's get right into it then.
Movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yes, I do.
Disney Plus. Oh, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime.
I like Netflix.
You found the pick.
Streaming picks. Movies that we watch on our streaming services this week that you can watch on yours too. Tyler, lead us off.
Okay. So I
Get ready, Dan. Get ready, Dan.
I want to
Get your pencil out.
I want to apologize to our classmates and to my host.
Okay.
I told everyone that the Batman Caped Crusader was coming out in September, but I was pleasantly surprised that it came out on August 1st.
Oh, cool.
And so I watched the first episode of it. It's fantastic. The Penguin's a woman in this show.
Oh, interesting.
She's hot.
Batman's gone woke.
Yeah, a lot of people are not happy about it. I thought it was really awesome.
They could shut up.
The introduction to the woman penguin was just phenomenal. The animation is great. The new voice for the Batman, I mean, rest in peace, Kevin Conroy.
Do you think it's weird that they call her the woman penguin? Isn't that kind of weird?
I guess
Every
so.
time she's referenced, they're like, "Oh my gosh, here comes the woman penguin."
Well, I mean, that I don't think that's ever been done before in the Batman franchise. So yeah, you're gonna say, "Oh, it's the girl penguin."
It's the girl penguin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stop right there, girl penguin.
Oh no, but she's a fox.
Of course she is.
So I didn't watch the whole series.
Why can't they make her an Uggo? What's wrong with that? Do they all have to be foxes?
Well, I mean, some people might argue against me. I have a very weird specific taste.
Is she Helena Bonham Carter in Fight Club?
No, she's a little bit more seductive.
Okay, I'm gonna try to find pictures of the girl penguin.
Yeah, do it. So check that out on Amazon Prime. Batman Caped Crusader. It's a little bit more of a.
I looked up girl penguin and it's just a bunch of like animated. Is it this one?
Yeah, it's that one.
This
It's
one
that
here?
one right there. Yeah.
All right, hold on a second. Here we go.
But you gotta watch. That's the image doesn't do it enough justice. But yeah, she's a fox.
All right.
Busty too.
That's all Tyler cares about.
That's right. Yeah, you know my womanizing ways.
Yeah, that's right. Hold on, before you move on, we gotta look at this girl penguin here.
All right.
Let me see if I can get it on the screen. All right, here we go. Yeah, dude. That's what's up. Love it. I like that they kept her in the top hat and stuff. They didn't try to make her like a
Yeah.
she's like in a bikini or something.
She runs like a riverboat casino, and
Oh, sick.
she does like a whole number, like she dances and she flirts with all the cops that go there. It's great stuff.
Heather says, I have a varied, weird, specific taste is a new t-shirt idea for Tyler fans. I like it.
Heather.
I like it. I think it's great.
It tracks with me.
Okay, continue.
But I did watch a streaming pick that you recommended.
All right.
2024's Love Lies Bleeding. Or Love Lies Bleeding. Not Loves. Love Lies Bleeding. So I'm going to read my review on Letterboxd. I don't know if you have that sound.
Oh, yeah, hold on a second. We haven't played that in a minute.
Tyler reads his own Letterboxd reviews. This is me, myself, and Tyler.
Yeah, Love Lies Bleeding, 2024. I rated this 2.5 stars.
Okay.
So it goes like this. For most of the movie, it had me going. I was really into the story and the character development and the shadow cloaking the two main characters. However, the ending really fell flat for me. It edged me and then walked away.
Not in the good way.
I think there was a great idea there, but it just wasn't fleshed out.
Okay.
Regardless, I had a great time watching this movie and I was not bored. Stewart's character really killed it. Grade B, end of report.
You gave it a B, 2.5 stars.
Yeah, so I really liked the beginning of this movie. Like until it got to the end, I wasn't into it. Like I won't get into spoilers or anything like that. But I think the premise of it was really there. It's especially because the bodybuilder girl, she didn't really have any acting experience. So she really did well as far as this being like one of her
Katie O'Brien.
Yeah. For this being one of her like first like major debuts. And I thought the movie looked really good, but once they got into like the supernatural stuff, it lost me.
You realize that wasn't actually there. It's a metaphor.
I understand that. That was not lost on me.
I hate metaphors.
That wasn't lost on me. However, I feel like it was unnecessary.
Yeah. There's filmmakers that use subtext. We call them cowards.
You coward.
Coward. Tell me exactly how to feel.
Yeah, exactly.
I want everything literal.
That's what I wanted from this movie, though, is like I wanted everything to be just like gritty, based into reality, not going into like some metaphorical scenes.
You know, it's an A24 movie.
I know it is. But still, I think the first half of the movie is really great. I wish they focused more on the journey to get to the bodybuilding competition rather than what transpires like afterwards, because I feel like there was something going towards the journey of getting to the competition, and then they just completely took a left turn onto something completely different, which I was fine with in the beginning of it.
You wanted the straight ahead story about the bodybuilding competition, not the noir sort of slimy underbelly of the small town.
Yeah, because it kind of muddied up the waters a little bit.
Interesting.
It was leading up to, okay, so of course there's going to have to be a conflict to get to that competition. And they did that, but then they kind of veered off a little bit too much into the conflict rather than it being like I said, like a shadow cloaking over the two main characters.
You wanted like a road trip movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping for. Yeah, Kristen Stewart just was.
She's great, huh?
She's incredible in that movie.
Better and better every movie I see her in.
She was incredible.
Do you want to be crushed now? I could definitely use a good crushing.
Yeah, I don't. It would scare me.
I don't want to. Okay, that's why you didn't like the movie.
I don't want to live in fear.
You don't want a strong, powerful woman.
Well, no.
Tyler wants to be able to dominate his women.
That's not true at all. Your words, not mine. But I would be afraid of that woman.
She's frightening,
like because
in a good way.
Like the kill scene was incredibly violent, and I really liked it because it just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, I actually no, it doesn't come out of nowhere, but like the visceralness of it comes out of nowhere.
Shocking. It's shocking.
And
did you see Saint Maud?
I think I tried to watch it, but I didn't finish it.
Okay.
Or anything.
That's a little bit of a divisive one. Joseph absolutely loves it. I thought it was a pretty good it was a great looking movie that left me wanting more, but it was same director, writer.
Is that
Rose Glass?
Oh yeah. Same
great name.
Yeah, I definitely did try to watch it, and I got bored of it pretty quickly. So
Tyler, when you're wearing rose-colored glasses, red flags just look like flags, baby.
I love that. I've never heard of that before. Did you just make that up on the fly?
No, I can't remember what that's from.
Oh well. But yeah, so I watched that. That was good, and then the Caped Crusader. And I feel like I watched something else.
True Detective season 1, last half.
Oh yeah, well, we'll get into that, which I can't wait.
All right, cool.
Yeah, that's all I got for this week.
All right. I'll ask in the chat. We never asked this before, but we're actually running good on time. We're a little bit of ahead on time.
Huh?
Anybody in the chat have any streaming picks they want to say? while I read mine, I'll shout yours out a little between my streaming picks or at the very end. So if you want recommend something, put it in the chat and I'll read it out to everybody. Okay, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go worst. I'm gonna go worst to best. It's hard because my first two movies have the same rating and they're so different. They're very different. So first up, and I'll just go in since it's a tie on the ratings. They're both 4-star movies in my opinion. Hi Angie. Angie's in the chat.
Angie.
Yeah. In my opinion, this is the one I liked the least out of the two 4-star movies, and it is Ridley Scott's Kingdom of Heaven. Kingdom of Heaven.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of this one, Tyler?
Yes.
What do you know about it?
I've seen it before.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's forgettable.
I could see how this would be a forgettable movie because it's just a lot going on. It's a really expansive story, but it stars. It's on streaming on Starz if you want to find it. I bought the Blu-ray so I could get the director's cut. Greg Sersavasti of Cinematics says that the chasm between the theatrical release and the director's cut is so big. This is one of the few movies where the director's cut absolutely saves what would have been a mediocre movie. And I watched the director's cut.
Okay.
And I did like it. I thought it was very good. It's a very long spanning story. It was 3 hours long, but it used all its time. You're not dragging around watching people stare at the wall for no reason. It's constantly moving forward towards this very long spanning story. I feel like Ridley Scott has improved a lot on his focused character nuance later in his career because like The Last Duel.
I was gonna say like Last Duel.
That Last Duel is you feel so much from the character's perspective. And this movie seems more like a spectacle in comparison, where it's not like a character study. It's like, look at the awesome story of this expansive universe.
Right.
And basically it's Orlando Bloom. He's the main character. Also Ava Green, Jeremy Irons, David Thewlis, Edward Norton, Liam Neeson for a minute, Brendan Gleeson. There's so many big names in this.
Yeah, star-studded cast.
Yeah, and basically Orlando Bloom is he's a blacksmith, and his wife dies at the beginning of the movie, and he essentially goes into like the Holy War, into the Crusades.
Yeah,
and he goes to Jerusalem and fights for whatever he's fighting for. So it's a very interesting story. It's very well acted. A couple times I felt it was a little bit cheesy, but ultimately it's a really fantastic scope on the story. So The Kingdom of Heaven.
When did that come out?
This is 2005.
Oh, okay.
Few years after Gladiator.
Yeah.
Where Lee Scott had already cemented his name as like this period piece sort of epic director.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I don't know what the studio made him cut it to maybe they just didn't want 3 hours. They made him cut an hour out of it or something like that. But the original cut on it is significantly shorter, and apparently by all accounts is terrible.
So the director's cut, you would say, is the superior?
I've never seen the first one, but I've heard it's far superior, but it's 3 hours.
Okay.
So if you want to dive into that, I don't know where you can find the director's cut versus the original one, but if you're looking for the director's cut, it's 3 hours. This is the one that I watched is fucking 3 hours long.
God damn.
So, and then the next 4-star movie that I watched, the FP2 Beats of Rage. This is the follow-up to the FP, the movie we covered on the show about the Dance Dance Revolution fighting competition.
Yeah.
Set in a somewhat futuristic, maybe future. I don't know if it even is futuristic or not, or if that's just the way that...
Or just modern day.
Yeah, this is just modern day Fraser Park. But this is also set in Fraser Park, California, the mountain town of Fraser Park. And in Beats of Rage, we pick up with J-Tro living in the shadow of basically his fallen brother, Betro, who died at the beginning of the FP1.
Yeah.
The first FP.
The first FP.
Yeah, the first Fraser Park one. And this movie objectively is a better made movie on all accounts.
Okay.
Than the first one. I think it loses a little bit of the the rough the rough edges a little bit, not much, but just a little. And they dropped all the casual use of the N-word, which is great because that was the one thing that I was.
That was a little bit much.
I'm all for autistic expression, and they really are like they fought for that in the first one, and they did it. And say what you will about all that, it's hard to watch at times, but once you settle into that universe and you're like, yeah, these people are all pieces of shit. This is something that they would say. I'm okay. We understand now.
Yeah.
But they lose that in the second one.
Oh, okay. That's good.
They do say ninja a lot though, so maybe there's a substitution there.
Yeah.
But there's actual ninjas in the story, so I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. But in this one, there's like a Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat. Shao Kahn is
yeah.
It's Shao Kahn, right?
Shao Lane? I thought it was Shao Lane.
No, it's Shao Kahn.
Shao Kahn.
Yeah, he's played by the same guy from the Night Stalker killer from Cobra. Same guy in that movie. Anyways, is it Shang Tsung? It's Shao Kahn and Shang Tsung. Those are the two bad guys in Mortal Kombat.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually like a little cross between the two of them because the main bad guy in FP2 Beats of Rage is called what's it called? His name is AK-47.
Oh yeah, AK-47. Yeah.
How do you know that?
How could you forget? You said in the first one.
No, in the second one.
Oh
no,
I thought.
No,
for some reason I thought
that character is not in the first one. There's a new bad guy.
Okay, it's a new bad guy.
His name is AK-47. He speaks Spanish, but he's a white guy.
For some reason, I thought there was a character named AK-47 in the first one.
No, his name is LEE in the first one.
Oh, okay.
The bad guy.
I knew it was some sort of numerical name.
Yeah. So AK-47 is the bad guy in this. He wears like cowboy boots with a long extension on the front, so like the tip goes all the way out.
Oh yeah.
And like bull horns on his shoulders for like shoulder pads, and he has a big blue like handprint on his face, and he speaks Spanish all the time, even though he's a white guy. And when he 187 someone, when they lose the battle, they fall down on the step pad of the Beat Revolution game and get electrified, and he sucks their soul out. He steals their soul and kills them. So it's like it's turned much more magical in the second one, much more ridiculous. There's a great montage where the ghost of Beatro talks to J-Tro. And then J-Tro meets his father, and his father trains him to come up and fight. And there's some gender inclusion messaging here too, because they say, "Man, women never do women never do beat off." He's like, it's like women are this time. This woman does. This woman beats off for sure. And then she goes in the competition, and everyone's like, "Man, there's a girl out there. That's crazy," And it's like it is. If you don't know what the FP is, and you're like, what the fuck is Pete talking about?
That sounds like a fun time.
Look up the FP trailer just to get an idea of what it is. It's like Demolition Man mixed with Astron 6 style filmmaking. So like the guys that did like Manborg and Psycho Gorman.
Yeah.
I feel like they would be good friends with Jason Trost in real life, J-Tro, the real life J-Tro. And maybe even like the guys that did Kung Fury, because it's like it's very much that like low budget friends making movies with each other energy that all of those productions have together. So that's FP2 Beats of Rage that is streaming on Tubi, Roku, Hoopla, Fubo, Filmei, and Vudu. And it's the second one turned into an Australian production. And I'm not 100% sure. I think maybe J-Tro like married a woman from Australia in real life. And because I got the 4-movie set from Umbrella Entertainment, that's an Australian like physical media company, and they have, and I'm like, why did this Australian company have the rights to FP? Fraser Park, California. It's set in Fraser Park, California. Why does this Australian company have this? And then a couple of the characters have thick Australian accents in this one, where they didn't in the first one. So I think that maybe he moved his home base to Australia, relocated or something like that. So anyways, that's the FP2. Watch that if you dare. All right, next one up. Not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because I watched it. I've talked about it before when it first came out. It's called Brian and Charles from 2022, streaming on Starz, but it's a $4 rental pretty much everywhere you get your normal rentals. And this is a fucking charming ass movie. This is the type of movie that if you are having a bad day and you need a little bit of a decompression, go watch Brian and Charles. It is so fucking delightful. It is a story of Brian, an aspiring inventor in England, in rural England, and he makes all kinds of goofy inventions. Like he's trying to make at the beginning of the movie, it's like shot like a documentary. So he's talking to the camera crew, and they're interviewing him about, his inventions and stuff. And he's like, I know that my inventions aren't for everybody. I'll just make it for myself. Whatever makes me happy. I'm just kind of lonely out here, way out in the country. And he like makes a rocket bike, and it's like just a bicycle with like a trash can on the back that's got steam coming out of it. And he's like, I wonder what it'd be like to fly. Never flied before, And you're like, that fucking thing's not gonna fly.
No.
And he like takes off down the road, and it catches on fire, and he has to put it out. It's just kind of like
quirky.
Rod Kimball from Hot Rod, Andy Samberg's character from Hot Rod.
Oh, okay.
He's a stunt man.
Yeah.
But he never lands any stunts.
Yeah.
This guy's an inventor, but all his inventions suck ass. But he's very sweet, he's very kind, and he decides to invent a robot. He finds a pile of trash on the road one day, on the side of the road that someone dumped, and he finds a washing machine box, giant washing machine box, and a mannequin head from like a cosmetology school of an old man, and he takes him home and he goes, I think I'll make myself a robot. And he makes a robot, and the robot comes to life, and it's fully sentient, with a working brain.
Wow.
And like comes out, and in the reality, in the movie, it's just a guy with a big box on his body with a shirt and a cardigan stretched over it, and the mannequin head on top. And he speaks with like a Stephen Hawking type voice.
Hello.
Kind of. It's like, you built my body, Brian.
You built my body, Brian.
Yeah. You are my friend, Brian. I'm your friend. Right, Brian. And it's like pre-programmed words, but it's not as digital as a Stephen Hawking voice, but it's definitely like specific inputs to, make a sound. It's very, very, very sweet, very, very funny.
Sounds very wholesome.
And super wholesome. Yeah, super wholesome. This is like in the same vein as like Marcel the Shell, where it's just a wholesome dump of awesome wholesomeness.
Or like Eagle versus Shark kind of vibe.
Yeah, a little bit like that. A little bit like that. And there's some dark stuff near the end, but I'd say it's even more wholesome than that. And, if you don't like this type of comedy, you'll know within 10 minutes whether or not you're going to enjoy it or not. I love this. First time I watched it, easy 5-star movie. I watched it. I got a screener for it. I watched it blind, didn't know anything about it. And I watched it in bed. Brianna and I watched it together, and we were both just by the end, we're just in such a great
glowing
mood. Just a great mood. Yeah. The lovemaking was glorious that night.
And you had to bring that up.
It's glowing. And, but I fell asleep on this rewatch kind of right in the middle. I watched this on after a really long day. But because it was so comforting, put me to sleep. Woke up, 10 minutes later, and it doesn't matter. You can watch any point in this movie and just get that like positive dump.
Right.
The ending's kind of cheesy, but I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's Brian and Charles streaming on Starz. It's worth like a $4 rent. Anyways, we got some streaming picks in the chat. Read here. Let's see here. So Heather says, Late Night at Terrace Lanes and Satanic Hispanics. I heard of both of those. Those are both Shudder releases, I believe. And I've heard good things about Late Night at Terrace Lanes. I haven't really heard a whole lot about Satanic Hispanics, but so that's a recommendation from Heather. Chris recommends I Saw the TV Glow streaming on Plex. Brianna, just so you know, Brianna watched that movie, and she had to text me to tell me how bad it was. She texted me while I was at work and said, I fucking hate this movie. I hate it. I don't know why, but I hate it. And I'm sorry. No, that was We're All Going to the World's Fair. That was the movie before, from the same writer-director, before I Saw the TV Glow. So we're planning on watching I Saw the TV Glow soon because it's now out for streaming and whatnot. So I'll report back on that probably next week. Another one from Heather. Death's Roulette and Dangerous Game, The Legacy Murders are both trapped in a mansion, and you have to violently get out, and we're both very fun. Angry Otter recommends Brainstorm from 1998. It's on Prime, Plex, and Tubi. Heather also recommends Brightwood and Enter the Fat Dragon.
What?
I don't know what Enter the Fat Dragon is, but
I've never heard of that one.
I like the sound of that.
All right.
let's see what else we got here. All right, I'm going to get rid of this here. We're not talking about Brian and Charles anymore. So Christopher Walken is in that one, apparently. Heather says she still has that Brainstorm on VHS. And then I think that's it. Nice discussion in the chat, though, that everyone's having. Yeah. And then finally, my best recommend of the week is a movie called Tangerine from 2015.
I like the fruit.
Yeah, you like the fruit?
Yeah.
So this is streaming on a lot of places. You get it on Prime, Fubo, Hoopla, Hulu, Canopy, Netflix, and Paramount.
Very accessible.
Also Plex, Pluto, Showtime, Tubi, Vudu, and Xumo. Xumo Play with the X.
I'm going to be watching it on Xumo.
Yeah, go watch it on Xumo. So Tangerine is a freaking really wild and intense movie. This is directed by Sean Baker, who did The Florida Project. He did Red Rocket.
Based on the poster, I could see, because The Florida Project has a similar poster.
You're judging this. Tyler, have you ever heard Don't Judge a Book by its cover?
No, I've never heard of that.
Okay. Don't judge a movie by its poster. I mean, you should at least a little bit. But
I mean, look at it. Look at the Florida Project poster to Tangerine.
So one of them has a gigantic, it's the full frame is filled with a child running, and behind it is a couple of buildings against the blue sky. But you can barely see that. And then in Tangerine, it's a silhouette of two people way off in the distance with a sunset sky.
Yeah, it's similar.
Okay. Maybe it's because it's from the same director. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, so Tangerine was, I think, Starlet came before Tangerine. That was, I think, one of Sean Baker's movies that kind of put him out there on the map. And I would probably call his type of filmmaking like almost like ultra realism, kind of like Kids or Gummo, where it feels like you're put into a situation of these people's lives and you're following them.
Okay,
in a very realistic, no hyperbole. Well, maybe hyperbole, but no like fantastic realism. No,
because when you're comparing a movie to Gummo, I'm just like, really?
Well, watch Tangerine.
Wait, really? Yes. They're killing cats in there?
No, they're not. But Tangerine is the story of, I'll just read the synopsis from IMDb. A hooker tears through Tinseltown on Christmas Eve, searching for the pimp who broke her heart. And these are two trans hookers.
Okay.
Their names are...
They're actually called sex workers now, Pete.
They call themselves hookers, so...
Okay.
Their names are Cindy, Sindee, and Alexandra. And in real life, Sean Baker found these two ladies living together. They were roommates. And
they were roommates?
And they were roommates, yeah. And in real life, and he had said they are such a couple of cards, such a couple of characters that he had to make a movie essentially about them. And in this movie, Alexandra had just got out of prison. She had jail. She spent 28 days in jail, and she comes out to meet her. Actually, it was Cindy when it was in jail. She came out and meet her roommate Alexandra, and they split a donut at the donut shop on the corner because she got no money. They just got to split a donut. It's like they're so broke. They got no money.
Yeah.
So we're only got one to split. And then at some point, Alexandra lets it slip that Cindy's boyfriend is cheating on her, Chester. Chester's cheating on her. And she lets it slip, and Cindy's like freaks out. And she's like, what the fuck? That motherfucker's cheating on me? I'm gonna find his ass. I'm gonna find her ass too. What's her name? And he's like, I don't know, Dee Dee or Dina or Danielle or something. I don't know. And she immediately takes off. Cindy takes off down like Hollywood Boulevard or whatever on foot, dressed like she's about to work in the street. Nasty ass weave in, running down the street, look like basically screaming at people.
Looks like a maniac.
It looks like she's absolutely crazed. And she's looking for Chester, and she's like, you motherfuckers know where Chester's at? I gotta find his ass. And the whole movie is her just chasing down Chester to basically give him what for, because they just got, well, I won't say anything. It's a really, really fantastically like hot, sweaty, gritty movie that takes place all in like one day.
Okay.
And at the same time, you're also following this Armenian taxi driver named Razmik. And you don't know why you're following him, but his story keeps getting cut back to, and the whole movie revolves around prostitution and transsexual, workers or transgender workers or whatever in the transgender community. And none of it is played as negative, which is good to see. In fact, at some point, one of the characters gets mad. He picks up a prostitute, and he gets mad that she doesn't have a dick. So
wait a minute, you don't have a bird?
He's like, what is this? She goes, that's a vagina. He goes, what? Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
Get out of here.
And he yells at her because she's like, you don't work here. This is not for girls. This is not for girls. And they call them, what do they call them? I think they call them fish, like natural women, born women assigned at birth. They call them fish.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the other prostitutes. It's a bizarre look at this weird community that is just super chaotic all the time, and you're just watching them like snort drugs and find the hooker and find this girl who's running around on his girlfriend. You find the trap house where they're staying, which is like an apartment that they run out, and they're just like turning tricks like 5 at a time inside the apartment.
God damn.
And you're like, these people are living like this. And I know, I don't know how much of it is like actual reality or based on reality or based off of true stories, or if it's just all exaggerated for the plot. But there is it's a hard to describe sweetness, like tenderness to this movie that peaks in at very specific moments. And then you're right back into the chaos.
Yeah.
So this is another one. You don't need 10 minutes in this, you need about 3 minutes. If you get
only 3,
if you get 3 minutes into this movie and you're like, this is not for me, turn back because it gets worse.
Oh yeah.
But sure. I got in 5 minutes into the movie and I like visually, I out loud looked at Brianna and I was like, I fucking love this movie. This is so great. These characters are so fun. They're so fun. And you're just it's almost like when you're watching reality shows and you're like, man, I thought my life was bad. These people are a wreck.
Yeah.
So it's but again, there's a very weird hidden sweetness to the whole thing that when it shows, it is very effective, and the finale is super fun. There's a big apex that kind of the swell that happens, and all culminates inside that donut shop that the whole movie started at.
All right.
So very, very fun. And again, you can find Tangerine on pretty much everywhere. Throw a rock and you'll be watching it.
Yeah.
Prime, Fubo, Hoopla, Hulu, Canopy, Netflix, Paramount, Plex, Pluto TV, Showtime, Tubi, Vudu, and Xumo. Yeah, that's right. So anyway, so that's all I got. Do you have anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. So Angry Otter says, no, do judge a movie by its poster because my movie poster is way better than my movie. LOL. Oh, speaking of which, Angry, Otter, I need to get you to send me a message back on Patreon. I sent some stuff out to you. I want to promote your movie. We'll get some links out in the show notes and point our listeners there.
Yeah,
listeners and viewers, because I know he's mentioned his movie, but let's see, here it is. Oh, they're talking about it in the chat. Name is Yorktown, 2011. Cool. Oh, he says it shouldn't be streamable anywhere unless it's pirated. So,
well, we need a DVD or something.
Yeah, let's figure out where we can get you hooked up with some views on this thing. So
we'll review it.
It's a literal miracle anytime a movie's made. We want people to watch it.
It isn't a miracle.
Yeah, much respect for that. So later on today, we're going to be reviewing the second half of True Detective season 1, episodes 5 through 8.
Yes.
And so that's if you're watching the YouTube live, stick around maybe 15 minutes. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. And if you're listening on the podcast stream or the YouTube Monday release, that episode will release on Wednesday.
Yes.
Cool.
All
right. So thank you to the cool ass yard dudes over on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather Sachs, Angry Otter, and Chris. If you want to support us on Patreon, hit us up, patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass, or just tune into the YouTube channel, the released videos, the live stream, whatever you do. If you're watching, it helps us in a big way. So until next time. Thank you for joining us. Join us very soon as we review True Detective Season 1, episodes 5 through 8. And then next week, we'll have Joseph back.
Yes.
And we're going to watch something. Oh, Kentucky Fried Movie. Yeah, from Heather.
Kentucky Fried Movie.
So follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, and follow us on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class. And please leave us a voicemail, 209-730-6010.
Hit us up on TikTok and YouTube at Middle Class Film Class. And I guess we'll see you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Class dismissed.
I gotta get out of here.
The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
You're free to go.
See you next week.
See you later.
See you later.
That's a wrap.
Great show.